Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Emma. Today's video, as you can probably tell from the title, is going to be a favourites video. I'm probably going to be titling this my October favourites, but to be honest, there are things that I've loved throughout September and October. There's just quite a few bits that I want to share with you. We've got some skincare, some makeup, some like book and music favourites, and then also some fashion favourites. But yeah, if you do enjoy this video, I'd love it if you could give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below any of your favourites. And if you're new here, I'd love it if you could subscribe. But without further ado, let's just get on into the video. Okay, I'm going to start off with my skincare favourites, and I've got two. And I'm going to kind of talk about together because they are very similar products that kind of go together sort of thing. So the first one is an eye cream, and this is the Bondi Sands I Spy eye cream. So I needed a new eye cream. I saw a few people talking about this one. I think it was actually part of like some ads, but it sounded really good and I really wanted to give it a go. And I have actually been using the Bondi Sands SPF, which I really like. And yeah, it is the I Spy brightening eye cream with vitamin C and green coffee beans. And yeah, I just really like this eye cream. I find it really hydrating for under my eyes, especially like now I'm like approaching 30. Like I'm definitely starting to notice like more fine lines under my eyes, and I'm just really trying to take care of my eye area and make sure I'm applying eye cream every day. And this one is just really nice. It's a really nice creamy formula, but it's also got like a little bit of brightening effect to it. It comes out like almost like orangey, almost got like this almost like skin like color to it. So when you put it on the face, it just really helps instantly brighten your under eyes, which is really nice for putting it on under makeup, just to help brighten eyes, especially like if I'm looking a bit tired or a bit dull, or especially if you feel like maybe got like quite dark circles. This would be really nice for just helping brighten up that eye area before you go in with makeup, or it just on its own if you're not going to be wearing makeup. But yeah, I just think it's a really nice eye cream. It sinks in really nicely, and like it says, it just really helps add that instant brightness to my under eyes. I also really like it because it is cruelty free and vegan formula, so that's really good. That's a real bonus for my skincare. The only thing I will say is it's quite a thin formula, so the packaging does get quite messy. The cream, like I don't know if you can kind of see, kind of like runs out of the tube on its own. If you can see like all the mess around there, which is a little bit annoying. Like you can see there, like it's already dripping out, which is a little bit difficult to work with and does mean it just gets quite messy. So I don't really ever store it upright, because I find that definitely doesn't help. So you just do have to be careful when you open the cap, and like you don't really need a lot of it, because if you do squeeze it, like a lot will come out because it's quite a runny formula. But I think the actual product itself is really good. It's just that the packaging could just be rethought maybe. But yeah, I just really like it as an eye cream. I feel like it does really help my makeup go on better and really help like with creasing, just like really making sure that I've hydrated my under eyes. And yeah, this is just a really good eye cream. Also, it is like drugstore, so it is very affordable, and I find it does the job. So yeah. And then kind of in junction with that, I've been using the Bioma moisturizing gel cream for my moisturizer. I picked this up on a whim because I did actually pick up another moisturizer from a different brand, which I didn't like, and it was not long before I was going on holiday, so I really just needed a moisturizer. So I just went into Boots, I saw this one, I thought it looked good. I think it was also on offer. I feel like this is also really affordable. It's around like £10–12 mark. And yeah, it's not a brand I've ever tried. I'd heard a little bit about the brand. To be honest, like the packaging helped drew me in, and I also really like the idea that it's a moisturizing gel cream. I really enjoy a moisturizer with a more gel consistency. I find it really cooling and really soothing on my face, and I think it just really helps hydrate my face. And I feel like my skin sinks in gels better than it does like a thick cream. The gel, it makes it a little bit lighter and also means it sinks in a little bit quicker, but it still adds that hydration. Because I do have kind of combination skin, I find that I don't necessarily need a really thick heavy moisturizer. So like a gel based moisturizer I find works really nicely, because it still hydrates like my skin, but it doesn't make my skin feel too oily or too like slippery or anything. I've definitely mentioned in the past that my skin is quite red, naturally is just quite red. So I do feel like because this has the gel consistency and it is a little bit more cooling, it does just help calm my redness a little bit, and yeah, it really helps prep my skin for makeup. And also if I'm just not wearing any makeup and I just want a nice moisturizer, this is really nice. Again, similarly to the eye cream, the one thing about this is the packaging. I mean, it's beautiful, it looks lovely on my shelf. I love the combination of like the pink and the darker pink. The only thing I will say is you can't see how much you have left, and then because like the packaging is a bit more weighty, you also can't like feel how much you have left, which is a little bit annoying because it just means pretty sure like I'm almost out of this, but I can't really tell how much I have left. You can actually, because it does come with like a pump, which I really like as well. The pump like distributes a really good amount actually. You can screw this off, so that is kind of helpful. I hate when you get packaging where you can't like open it at all, but I do kind of like when I can see how much product I have left in the bottle, which obviously you can't do with this. But it is a really nice product. I really like it, and like I said, it is really affordable again, but I feel like it does the job. Yeah, I just think it's a really nice moisturizer, and I'd really recommend if you're on the market. Yeah, really loving that. And these two have kind of been my moisturizing duo for the past few months, and they work really nicely together as well. Okay, and then moving on to makeup, I kind of only got two things that I want to mention. The first one is kind of like a skincare makeup hybrid, and this is the Erborian Skin Hero. It just looks like this. This is like the smaller version. This is only like 15 ml, is this? Yeah, 15 ml. They do a bigger version, which I think is about 30 ml. I actually picked up the mini in Space NK. During the daytime, like on a day-to-day basis, I really don't wear foundation. I tend to go for like a tinted moisturizer or something very lightweight. I do really like the Rare Beauty tinted moisturizer. Yeah, and I've also like used some other Erborian products. I think I've mentioned they do a green one which is for anti-redness, which I really like. But I saw this and I thought I would give it a go, and I really like it. So it's the Skin Hero. So it almost comes out, it looks like that sort of colour, if you can see. And then you kind of just rub it into the skin, and it doesn't really add a tint or anything, but it kind of just adapts to your skin and just helps blur out your skin. It's not like a really full coverage, like if you've got spots or something, this is going to cover a spot, but it just kind of helps even out the skin tone a little bit. Like I said, I've got quite a lot of redness in my skin, or like maybe if my skin's looking a little bit dull, if I'm a bit tired or something, and I find like just adding this to my skin just really helps even out my skin tone and make my complexion look a little bit healthier, a little bit brighter, without adding like a lot of coverage. And I really like it. It sits really nicely on the skin, it sinks in really nicely, it doesn't feel like cloggy in my pores. I don't really like having anything too heavy that I feel like clogs my pores, so this is just really nice to add to the skin. I do go in with concealer for a little bit more coverage in the areas that I feel like I need it, but this just gives a really nice even base across my skin, gives me a little bit of oomph to my skin without having coverage. Some days I don't necessarily want to wear, I don't really feel like wearing a lot of makeup, but I want something because maybe I feel a little bit like my skin needs a little bit of help, or I just want that little bit of confidence boost with a little bit more, yeah, like help for my skin, just to make my skin look a little bit more fresh and a little bit more healthy and a little bit more even. And I find this works really well for that. I do also think this is meant to help improve your skin over time, like if you wear it on a regular basis. I think it's meant to be quite good for your skin. Yeah, and I just really like it. I tend to wear this and then I'll maybe put a little bit of makeup on over the top. It's actually what I've got on today. Don't know if you can tell because it's actually quite late on in the day. I've been meaning to film this video all day and I've just kind of left it and now it's like about 5 o'clock, so it has been on for quite a while, but it just works really nicely under makeup, especially when I don't feel like I need a lot of coverage and I don't necessarily want a lot on my face. If I just want more minimal makeup look, or like when I do like a more bold lip, I don't really like a lot of coverage on my face because I just can look a bit too much. I like a more subtle like skin, and I think this just works really nicely. And yeah, I really like it. I think it would also be really good for like no makeup days, if you just kind of want to put something on your skin and not necessarily have to apply makeup, but just to help like even out the skin tone. I think that would be really good for it. Sometimes like if I'm just working from home and I don't necessarily want to put a full face of makeup on, I might just put this on just for a little bit of something, just give my skin a little bit of a refresh and make it look a little bit more awake. And yeah, I think like sometimes also just doing something like that can really help you feel like you look a little bit more put together even though you've not really done a lot. But yeah, I really like this. I do think it's actually quite a reasonable price. I mean, this little one's lasted me quite a while and I did actually take this on holiday with me. But yeah, I mean, I've only ever tried 2 skin products from Erborian, but I really like them. So I'd be really interested in trying more products. So if you have any recommendations from the brand, if you let me know in the comments below, because I'd really be interested in trying more from the brand. They are quite an interesting, bit more unique brand, and I don't see a lot of people talking about Erborian. So yeah, really like this. And then kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum is a powder I want to talk about. For basically the past year I've been using a loose powder, and for whatever reason one day I was getting ready and I decided I didn't really want to use a loose powder, I wanted to use a pressed powder, and I only really had 2 in my collection. One is the Charlotte Tilbury one, which I'm pretty much almost finished, and I'm pretty sure that was in a handbag somewhere, so I didn't have it to hand. So the only other pressed powder I had in my collection was this, the Primark PS My Perfect Colour Foundation Pressed Powder Buildable Coverage Matte Finish. It's literally just a powder foundation. It looks like this, and I have it in the shade Ivory. Mine's a little bit broken, so just looks like this in the pan, and it actually does come up with a mirror. It's actually pretty good packaging because I paid £2 for this. I mean, it is, oh, it is actually now fully broken on me. It does actually click in though, so I think I could still carry this around regardless of the packaging. This is just a really, really nice powder. It is a powder foundation. Now, I've never used this like as its own as a foundation. I've never like just gone in and put concealer and then used this as like foundation on, but I've just been using this to set my face, and it just works really, really well. Yeah, it's just really, really good at mattifying my face. I feel like it works really, really well. It's really nice also like for topping up your makeup throughout the day. So because it has that little bit of coverage, because it is a powder foundation, I think it just works really nice for like top ups, because sometimes like, especially on my chin, like later on, I've lost a little bit of coverage on my chin, so just going over with this to like mattify my chin, but then it also helps add a little bit of coverage and helps my makeup look a little bit more refreshed. And yeah, I just really, really like it as a powder, especially like I said, because I use like a more lightweight base like the Arborian one, or like a tint moisturizer. I feel like this is just really nice for adding a little bit more coverage, especially now we're getting into like the colder months. I tend to do a little bit more mattifying on my face, just because I prefer that on my skin in autumn, winter. And yeah, I just think it works really, really nicely. It's a really nice powder. It's like really nicely finely milled, and it's just really nice for carrying around. Obviously now it's broken, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, but obviously because it's got the mirror in there, it's just really nice for like carrying around for top ups. I will say, like, before it's broken like this, like when it goes, it clicks down, so it like stays closed like in your handbag, so it's not going to like open and you're not going to get powder everywhere. And yeah, I just think it's a really, really nice powder, and I just think it works really, really well on the skin. The colour match is really, really good for me. I'm not sure what the shade range is like, but I find this Ivory shade works really well for me. But I just really, really like this powder. I've not really seen anyone talk about it. I've seen quite a lot of people talk about Primark makeup, but I don't know if I've seen anyone actually talk about this powder, and I just think it's a really nice pressed powder. I find a pressed powder is just a lot more easier than using a loose powder, and yeah, I just really, really like it, so I thought I'd just mention it in this video. And obviously it is very affordable. I paid £2, but I know Primark has recently started putting up their prices, so it might be a little bit more than that now, but I did just really want to mention it. Just have a little bit of sip of tea. Okay, and then moving on to a fashion favourite. I've only got one that I want to mention, and I have spoken about these in multiple videos. I styled them in my previous video, which was my autumn outfits video. I'll link it in the cards, that side, if you haven't seen it. And it is just a pair of jeans. Now, I kind of did a whole video on jeans, testing denim jeans, because I wanted a new pair of straight leg jeans, and I tested a few from different brands, and the ones that I went with are Monkey, I think they're called the Taiki jeans. I'll have them linked in the description box below so you know exactly which ones they are. But I just absolutely love these jeans. I've got another pair of Monkey jeans, which are in a different style. I can't remember what the style is, and they're cream jeans, and I absolutely love those. And I just love Monkey denim, and I don't ever really see anyone talk about their denim. To be honest, I feel like Monkey as a whole entire store is quite underrated. I see like a few people talk about Monkey, but I just think they do some really, really cool pieces. They're really quite affordable brand, and they just do some really cool classic pieces, and I just love their denim. So yeah, these are just a pair of straight leg blue jeans. They just go all the way down. They're really, really comfortable. I love the fit of them. I picked them up in the waist 31. Yeah, waist 31. I don't know if they do different leg lengths though. That's the only thing I will say. And I just really, really love them. They're a really, really comfortable pair of jeans. I think they look really, really nice. They've washed really well. They've worn really well. They're really, really comfortable. They look nice and like fitted to the body, but they're not like too tight. They're not like uncomfortable to sit down in, and I just think they are such a good pair of jeans. I believe they retail for around £40, but they were on sale for 18 when I bought them, and I just think they're a brilliant pair of jeans. I've been wearing them a lot recently. I kind of just live in denim all year round, and I just really, really like them. Like, they're just so soft and so comfortable. I just love a pair of denim that like wear well, and these are really, really wearing well. I just love them. They're just a classic pair of blue straight leg jeans. There's not a lot to say about them, but I just think they're such a good option. And honestly, if you are on the market for a new pair of denim, I'd really recommend Monkey, because they do like loads of different styles. They do like different waist sizes, which I really like. I find like jeans just made to like waist sizes like that just tend to fit a lot better, because I can be kind of in between a 12 and a 14. But yeah, I just think they're a really good pair of denim. I really love them. I love the wash of them. They do come in a few different washes. This is just like the classic denim. I'll link the exact pair down below, because I don't know the exact wash name off the top of my head, but I will link them down below if you want to check them out, because they're just a really good pair of denim and I really recommend. Okay, and then moving on to books and music, the first thing I want to talk about is a book. That is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Now, I know this book has been talked about quite a lot. I know there's a little bit of controversy around this book as well, but I finally finished this book. I actually finished it back in September and I really enjoyed it, so I did just want to mention in this video. I'm kind of like getting back into my reading mojo recently. I really love reading. I just never really seem to sit down and make the time for it, and I really want to start making the conscious effort to start reading some more, because I really enjoy reading. And I actually read 3 books in September, which is quite a lot for me because I'm quite a slow reader. I don't read very quickly, and yeah, that was quite a lot for me. I mean, it was kind of because we were on holiday. The other 2 books I did read were Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid and Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. And I did both really like those books. I thought they were really good, and I'd recommend if you are looking for something to read. But this was the kind of standout book that I read. I just really love the story. It's kind of something that I wasn't expecting. I kind of expected it to be more of a murder mystery, but really at the heart of the book it is a romance novel. Obviously there is a murder mystery that goes alongside the romance story, but I just really love this. I really found myself just really enjoying it. I will say the first third took me a little bit longer to get through than this last 2/3, just because it does take a while setting the scene. It does kind of talk about Kaya, who's the main character, for quite a while, and kind of sets her up from childhood and where she lives in the marsh and how she like lived in her childhood. That bit was a little bit slow and it did take me a bit longer to get through, but when it really got into the story, I did then fly through it. That is just a no. I'm just going to be perfectly honest, in case you find yourself finding the first bit of this book a little bit slow. Do stick with it. I mean, I did really enjoy that. Like, it really helped set the scene, really helped kind of understand Kaya as a character and really kind of get you attached to the character. I really am more drawn to books where there's only a few characters. If there's too many characters and I've got to try focus on like multiple people, I can't do it. I like to kind of just have one character that I find like I'm really connecting with and like following their journey, and that is exactly what this book is. But it's just a really interesting read. It's really something I didn't expect. I loved the love story in this. I was really like rooting for them throughout the whole book. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. If you don't know the story, it's about a girl called Kaya who lives in the marsh, and basically all her family ends up leaving, and she basically lives on her own at like 9 years old in the middle of the marsh, and she basically learns her way through life. She kind of figures out how to fend for herself. She doesn't go to school, so she's not very well educated, and then she makes a friend who kind of helps teach her, and then eventually her friend leaves because he goes off to college, and she meets another boy who is the famous boy in town, and but then alongside that, the guy that she had the second romance with, the popular guy, is found dead at the bottom of a tower. And so it kind of goes in conjunction with like telling her story, and then obviously the murder mystery part. But yeah, I thought it was just a really good book. I've not actually watched the film yet because I was still reading the book when the film was in cinemas, so I can't comment on that, and I refused to go see it in the cinema because I want to finish the book first. If I'm going to watch something and there's a book and I want to read the book, I have to read the book first before I watch the show or film or whatever it is. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you haven't read it, I really recommend. I think it's a really good book. Okay, and then the last 2 things I want to talk about are both music favourites, but I feel like these are not going to come as any surprise at all because I feel like they are both very popular albums at the moment, but I did just want to talk about them because I love them both. So the first one I have to give recognition to is the 1975's Being Funny in a Foreign Language. I really love this album. I thought it was brilliant. I pretty much love every song. I feel like it's more like kind of their older style of music, more like their first couple of albums and their most recent albums, and I just really enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of the album was released as singles, so by the time the actual album was released I'd heard like half of it already in singles, but I just really love it. I love their music. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they work with Jack Antonoff a lot on this album, which will come into the next album that I'll talk about, which is going to be no surprise. But yeah, I really love it. I really love the vibes. I really just thought it was a really good album. To me, honestly, there's like no skips, but a couple of my favourites are the title track, the 1975, Looking for Somebody to Love, I'm in Love with You, Wintering. I think they're all my favourites. Although I do love All I Need to Hear. That's a beautiful love ballad. But yeah, it's just a really good album from start to finish. I just really enjoyed it. I actually have got tickets to go see them in January, which I'm really excited for because I saw them once just before the lockdown and I really enjoyed their concert. I thought they were brilliant live, so I'm really excited to go see them in January. I just love I love his lyricism. I think it's really interesting. Some of the lyrics just don't really make much sense. I also find it quite hard to learn all the lyrics to a 1975 song because some of them are just so random, but I do really like it. I think it's just a really fun album and would really recommend. I've kind of been listening to that non-stop for like an entire week until Friday happened. So as I'm filming this, it's currently Sunday the 23rd and this album has only been out for 2 days, and I actually have a visual representation because I did actually buy the CD, and that is Midnights by Taylor Swift. So I feel like this album had been really hyped up. Basically my whole entire TikTok feed is just Taylor Swift, so the whole of like the past month has been like theories about the album, what to expect, what was going to happen, and to be honest with you, I was actually quite nervous because I loved like Folklore and Evermore and I knew that she was going to go back to her more pop roots, so I feel like, I don't know how I managed to do that. I think I was really managing my expectations on the album, and I don't know why, because I mean I've loved every single album that she's done. I mean obviously some I prefer more than others and some I listen more to than others, and I will say like Folklore and Evermore, two of my favourite ever albums. But yeah, I was kind of managing my expectations, but this album is perfection for me. I just really loved it. I honestly, like, listening to it for the first time on Friday, I was actually quite emotional. I don't really know why. But I just really loved the album. I think it's something, yeah, she's gone back to her pop roots, but I feel like it was quite more like mature. Like it kind of was like a mix of all her previous albums like put together in one album and like matured, if that makes sense. I just really enjoyed it. It's kind of like 1989 meets Reputation meets Lover to me. It does have other elements of other albums, and there are like parallels, I believe, between a lot of the songs on Midnights and like a lot of her older songs as well. Kind of seen people like trying to make connections, but I just really love the album. I thought it was really good. I think because of that, because she does like do like callbacks to previous songs, and I think she's used like a few beats in this which are from previous songs, it felt quite nostalgic to me, which is really weird, like listening to an album for the first time and feeling like you already know it. Does that make sense? I don't even really know how to explain it. I think that's what made it quite emotional for me, because it felt quite nostalgic to like, because I mean I've been a Swiftie since like the Fearless era, which seems like forever ago, so like it just kind of felt like an amalgamation of all her past albums into a new album, but like done really well. The vibes of this album are spectacular. Honestly, it's like happy dancing, like revenge, angry, sad, heartbreaking. What I really love about on this album is actually one of my favourites is Anti-Hero, which is actually the one that's a single. And I love it because it's heartbreaking, and actually listening to the lyrics the first time, like it made me quite emotional listening to it, that she like would think about herself like that. But it's like to a really upbeat tune. And I kind of love that contrast and that kind of juxtaposition between these like really quite sad lyrics about self-loathing to like this really upbeat happy tune. And I kind of love that. And I will say also, she mentioned it in a post actually, that so the first 13, there is an extra 7, which are the 3 AM tracks, which we'll get into, was like she really focused on her collaboration with Jack Antonoff, and I think that really comes through with this album. Like I have to say, like the production of this album and like all the background sounds are like phenomenal. Obviously, like what I love Taylor Swift for is her lyricism, and I love her lyrics, and like and that's why I really love the Folklore Evermore era, because that's where her lyricism shines. But this, she obviously still has that element of writing these amazing wonderful lyrics, but to this amazing production of music behind it. And obviously that's a collaboration between Taylor and Jack Antonoff, but yeah, I feel like this album just really highlights like how well they work together. Like there's some really interesting things on this album that she's not really done before, like some like really like synthy beats which kind of remind me of like some old school songs of 1989, but then there's also like a lot of voice distortion, which I think is like her voice distorted to sound like a man, which I found really interesting. And yeah, it's just like a flawless album, honestly. Like I love all the songs. The one slight disappointment, which it's not really a disappointment because I still really love the song, but when she announced she was going to do a collaboration with Lana Del Rey, I was really excited to like have their voices blended together, and I hoped it would be something more like Nothing New, where like Phoebe Bridgers had like a whole verse to herself, whereas really with Snow on the Beach, Lana is just kind of background vocals, and I kind of wish they'd used her voice a little bit more. I still love the song, but I just kind of still feel like I still need a Taylor and Lana collab with more like of Lana singing in it, if I'm honest. But it's a really good album. And then obviously she announced that there's going to be 7 bonus tracks, which I believe Aaron Dessner was involved in, which made me really happy because he collaborated with her and Jack a lot on Folklore Nevermore, and I was quite sad that he wasn't going to be involved when they released like the credits and he wasn't listed. I was really happy to see she'd actually still worked with Aaron Dessner, because I think they just create magic together. And I was actually out in public when I found out there was 7 extra bonus songs, and if anybody saw me in the street like reacting to that, they would have thought, oh, I was a crazy person because I was so excited in the street. But yeah, I love the album. I mean, favourites so far are Maroon, Antihero, You're on Your Own Kid, which I think is a lovely song, Question, Mastermind, Paris, Glitch, I think. I love them all though. Like I love them all for different reasons, and I feel like there's so many different moods on this album. Like Vigilante Shit is like just a whole mood in itself. Also she swears quite a lot on this album. That's something else to mention, which I bloody love. Like every time she swears I'm just like, ooh, Taylor. Yeah, it's just a really good album. It kind of just highlights everything that I think she has been known for in her past albums and amalgamated it all into one great masterpiece, quite frankly. Like it's still got the lyricism in there, and then she's always known how to write a really good pop song, and it's got that in there, but then it's also like experimental in a way that I really loved. And yeah, and I do actually have a CD. I don't own a CD player, but I saw the announcement that if you pre-ordered the CD you would get a pre-sale access code for future tour dates. So please Taylor, do a 2023 tour, putting out into that universe. And I'm absolutely terrified for when I have to try and compete for tickets for her next tour, so I thought if I get pre-sale as well, that doubles my chances. So I did buy a CD, even though I have no CD player, although the visual imagery of this is really good. I love that like each album has like eras, and she like switches up her look and her outfits and things, and like the makeup in this era is incredible. Like the like visual effects for like Vigilante Shit, where she's got like the blue jewels on her eyes, like it's incredible. I kind of hoped when there was like gonna be like a announcement, like a secret announcement, that it was going to be a visual album, and I kind of wish like it was a visual album, because I kind of think the visuals for every single song would be incredible. But you know, she works hard enough. She doesn't need to create a music video for every single song. I absolutely love the album. I can't stop listening to it. It's constantly playing on in my head. I keep singing random lyrics to people, and it's only been out 2 days, so yeah, absolutely love this. Probably gonna have this on repeat for another week, and then I might like reintroduce the 1975 and just listen to them back to back for like the rest of the year, because they're both incredible albums and I love them both. Yeah, go stream Midnights because it's a fantastic album. I feel like I actually think I've heard some people not really love this as much, and I don't know how you can't, quite frankly, but there you go. That's my final favourite. I've just rambled on about this album for like 10 minutes, so that's going to be interesting to edit. But yeah, that is it for this video. Like I said at the beginning, if you did enjoy this video, I'd love it if you could give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below which are your current favourites. If you've been listening to Midnights, let me know what your favourite songs are in the comments below, because I love like seeing different people's rankings of songs and seeing how they differ, and seeing how like so many people can like love the same artist, but then like the rankings of things can be so different. I think that's really, really fascinating. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel if you want to see my face and see future videos, and I will see you all next week in a brand new video. Goodbye.